Imagine planning your dream vacation only to find out the doors are slammed shut. Not for lack of funds, not for lack of desire, but simply because of where you're from. It's the ultimate travel heartbreak. And in this video, we're diving into the 10 countries where Americans are not allowed in 2024 and 2025. Stick around, because some of these reasons might shock you, and one country might even be your dream destination. Before we start, I want request. We put our best efforts to create every single video, so do not forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Number 1. North Korea, the Forbidden Kingdom. Let's start with the most infamous country on the list, North Korea. In 2017, the U.S. government banned travel to North Korea after a series of diplomatic incidents, including the tragic case of Otto Warmbier. This restriction isn't just about politics, it's about your safety. But here's the real kicker. North Korea doesn't even want you there. The government has zero tolerance for perceived disrespect, and even the most innocent mistake could land you in a work camp. So, if you were dreaming of seeing Pyongyang's eerie grandeur, think again. Quick question. Do you really want to go somewhere where even your guide is watching your every move? Number 2. Iran. A tenuous history. Iran's rich history and stunning architecture might draw you in, but don't pack your bags just yet. While Iran technically allows some Americans to visit, the process is so rigorous and restrictive, it's almost impossible to get approval. Relations between the U.S. and Iran have been icy for decades, and that tension spills over into travel policies. Plus, if you do manage to enter, you're required to have a government-approved guide with you at all times. Want to explore on your own? Sorry, that's not an option. Imagine needing permission to grab a cup of coffee. But wait, what about a country that actively deports Americans for stepping foot on its soil? Keep watching, because that's coming up next. Number 3. Saudi Arabia. The changing rules. Here's a twist. Saudi Arabia recently opened its doors to tourists, but Americans still face hurdles. While the country is keen to show off its futuristic cities and ancient wonders, cultural restrictions make it a tricky destination. For example, strict dress codes and laws around public behavior could land you in hot water if you're unaware. And let's not even get started on the consequences of breaking the law. This isn't the place for second chances. Pro tip: if you're not into following a long list of rules, Saudi Arabia might not be your vibe. Number 4. Venezuela, a travel gamble. Venezuela is a country of contrasts. Breathtaking landscapes paired with one of the most unstable political climates in the world. The U.S. State Department has issued Level 4 travel advisories for years, citing crime, shortages of basic goods, and a lack of infrastructure. But here's the haunting part. If you get into trouble here, help might not be coming. The U.S. doesn't have a functioning embassy in Venezuela, leaving you on your own in a crisis. Up next, we'll reveal a country where even setting foot on the border could lead to immediate arrest. Number 5. Cuba, a complicated past. Cuba, with its vibrant culture and stunning beaches, feels tantalizingly close, just 90 miles off the Florida coast. Yet, for most Americans, it's still out of reach. The U.S. embargo against Cuba has been in place since 1960, and though restrictions eased briefly, they've tightened again in recent years. Tourism to Cuba for Americans is technically prohibited. Exceptions exist, like educational or cultural exchanges, but forget about lounging on Varadero Beach with a mojito in hand unless you fit into a narrow legal category. So, unless you're planning to moonlight as an academic or a humanitarian worker, Cuba remains a no-go zone. Number 6. Afghanistan, beauty lost in turmoil. Once a land of ancient cities and rugged landscapes, Afghanistan is now synonymous with instability. Following the U.S. withdrawal in 2021, the Taliban regained control, creating an environment that's dangerous for Americans. The U.S. government has strongly advised against travel here due to ongoing security threats, including kidnappings and terrorism. Even aid workers and journalists struggle to navigate this volatile region. But here's a thought. What if a country banned Americans simply because it could? Stay tuned, for that puzzling entry. Number 7. Libya, a lawless landscape. Libya is another country where breathtaking history meets political chaos. Its Roman ruins rival those in Italy, yet the country's descent into civil war has made it nearly impossible for Americans to visit. The U.S. has no embassy in Libya, and the security situation is dire, with armed groups controlling much of the country. Even well-meaning tourists could get caught in the crossfire. Who needs ancient ruins when your travel insurance doesn't even cover getting stuck in a militia crossfire? Number 8. Syria, a no-man's land. Syria's ancient cities and cultural heritage are unparalleled, but years of civil war have left the country in ruins. The U.S. government bans its citizens from traveling here due to the high risk of terrorism, kidnappings, and chemical attacks. The heartbreaking part? Syria's historical treasures, like Palmyra, are being lost to time and conflict. For Americans, even considering this destination is a non-starter. Now, let's switch gears and head to a region where the danger isn't just physical, but also financial. Number 9. Somalia, pirates and perils. Somalia's coastal beauty and unique culture might tempt the adventurous, but the risks far outweigh the rewards. From piracy off its shores to militant groups like Al-Shabaab, this is one destination where Americans are explicitly advised to stay away. And it's not just the threat of violence. Basic infrastructure is lacking, making even the simplest trip a logistical nightmare. If your idea of adventure is dodging pirates, Somalia might just top your bucket list. For the rest of us, hard pass. Finally, we've saved one of the most controversial countries for last, a place where geopolitics and culture collide in unexpected ways. Number 10. Russia, the Great Divide. Russia has long been a complex destination for Americans, but recent events have escalated tensions to new heights. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine has led to a frosty relationship between the U.S. and Russia, with travel restrictions and visa denials becoming the norm. For Americans, entering Russia now is like walking a diplomatic tightrope. Surveillance, detainment risks, and government suspicion make it an increasingly hostile environment. And here's the big question. Could these restrictions ease in the future, or are these destinations permanently off the table? So, which country on this list surprised you the most, and where would you go instead? Let us know in the comments. Remember, the world may be unpredictable, but your curiosity doesn't have to be. Subscribe for more stories that uncover the hidden truths of global travel.